Now let's set up the simulation model for airline pricing. So we have 100 as the capacity. So let's use yellow background for that. And price is 300 and 100. Okay. And demand, we have a mean of 30 and standard deviation of 10 for Y class, and 90 and 40 for Q class. So all of these are input. Okay. Now we're going to set up a demand function. Okay. And let's see. We go to distribution, define. Okay, all, and normal. Okay, we select that distribution, and mean, this is for Q, so mean is that, and standard deviation is that. All right, now we need to introduce the truncation, so we don't want this negative part. So we go to standard. Okay, so parameters. So right now is no truncation. So we're not going to do any shift. So we can choose either one of them. Okay, so now you get the trunk min and trunk max. So what we want is the trunk min. On the minimum side, we want 0. Okay, we don't want anything less than 0. So it gets cut off at 0. So, and the textbook example, when they have the rounding done somewhere else, let's go ahead and round it right here. So, okay, round 0 decimal places. So that's the Q demand. And we have a similar one. I'm going to go into edit mode, copy, and then paste here. And we're going to have E2, I'm sorry, F, normal E2 and F2. Okay, so E2 and F2 for Y class. And again, so that's our Y demand. Now the 3 strategies, so we have 30, okay, I'm sorry, 30 is here. We're not, this is no control. Strategy 1 is no control, nothing. And then third one is 37. Okay, so these are the decision variables. Okay, so we decide what goes in here. All right. Now we have to figure out what the sales will be for Q and Y. So I'm going to set up I'm going to cut down the complexity of the formula into smaller pieces so it'll be easier to follow. So I'm going to have available for Q and then available for Y. and then we'll use these two in our formulas. Okay, so right now for strategy 1, okay, so we have the plane capacity, and plane capacity always should come from B1, okay, minus the seats that we set aside for Y class. So for strategy 1, that's going to be 0. So then we copy that here and here. Okay. Now we can set up the actual Q sales. So Q sales will be the minimum of its demand. Q sales demand comes from there, right? And for Q sales, the demand must always come from there. Okay, the minimum of that, and what is available. So we can only sell the minimum of these two. Okay, so now we can copy that down here and down there. Okay. Now what is available for Y is, okay, the plane capacity, all right, minus the number of seats we sell at Q class. Okay, so that would be the number of seats available. So now we can copy that down here. So C12, and then over here. Okay, so let's center that. All right. Well, let's remove the lines there. Okay. Now Y sales then is again the min of the Y demand. Okay, and we need to make that absolute reference, and the seats available for sale at that class. So now we can copy that here and here. Okay. Next is revenue. Revenue is Q sales times Q price plus I did the Q price plus Y sales times Y price. So that's the revenue for strategy 1. Copied. I don't know whether I did. Okay, so I need to make sure that that's absolute reference. That's absolute reference. Then I can copy into these two. So these are the output values or outcome values. Okay, so let's do that. So let's go ahead and make these output. Okay, all right. So click OK. So we have these three as output, and then we have empty sales. So empty sales will be that minus what we sell. So Q1 plus Q2, and this will not. You don't have to do an if function here to see whether it's negative or not, because we've already used the min and min based on the available seats, so it's already going to be okay. So there is no need to check again. Okay, the only thing is B1 should be absolute referenced. Okay, so then I can copy that down here and down here, and we can think of these as output as well. So let's go ahead and define them as output. And The range name is empty seats. Let's use that one. Okay, and let's mark them as output as well. All right. Now let's go ahead and set up mean revenue here. Mean revenue and mean empty seats. Okay, so for strategy 1, 2, 3, okay, I'm trying to set this up similar to what we have in the textbook, so you will be able to refer back from the textbook cell references into our Excel file. So then we have risk mean of revenue and now that can be copied over here, and this should be currency, no decimal places. Let's go ahead and center these, and now we can copy that over here and over here. Okay, so now we have set up everything. We can now run the simulation. So let's make that enabled, and 10,000, and sampling, let's make it fixed at 1. Alright, so now let's go ahead and simulate. Okay, so when you set aside more seats for the Y class, and you do get more empty seats on average. Okay, so that's understandable. Now you see strategy 2 and strategy 3 are very close. Strategy 1 gives you the smallest mean revenue, obviously because you're selling way too many Q class seats that could have been sold at 3 times the price. Now, so the 37 gives you even more than the mean number of seats, mean demand for Y class. So we can do some further analysis to see what would be the optimum level of seats, optimum number of seats to set aside for Y class. So that's the kind of analysis that optimization is used for.